some parents just can't wait for and what others dread when the last kid leaves home. Here's how empty nest parents Roz and Bernie handled it in the movie Little Fockers.
I will master this art.
Dad, this is crazy. What are you doing? You're in Spain? You're gonna miss the party?
You picked a hell of a time to go through menopause.
Roz, I am not going through menopause. I'm just trying to find my true north.
True north, huh? What are you, a compass or something?
No, but let's face it, I'm a stay-at-home dad whose kid hasn't lived at home in 25 years.
There's an Arthur Murray studio right here in Miami Beach. Why schlep all the way to Spain?
I can't believe you, Roz. Why can't you support my dreams the way I've always supported yours?
Guys.
When you wanted to try new sex positions for your research, I was your guinea pig.
You volunteered.
I pulled my hamstring doing a reverse cowgirl.
That's because you did it backwards.
So, how can couples start the next stage of their life without the arguments and maybe even divorce? Well, let's ask psychotherapist and counsellor Melissa Ferrari. Welcome to does saying goodbye to your kids really change the dynamic of most couples?
Well, it does, because the focus a lot of the time has been on the children. And so it's sort of been like you've been looking out, and now you've got to look back at each other. And so that can be quite difficult for some couples.
A bit frightening.
Yes, particularly if you haven't managed that so well. If you have been just focusing on the kids and then you go, oh, wow, now it's me and you, it really does take a little bit of work for some to refocus again.
That's why I always say we should have more kids. Now, what happens when the last kid leaves? Because a lot of couples find, oh, hang on, we don't have anything to talk about anymore.
Nothing in common.
Do you have to sort of start over with your... Do you have to start dating them again?
Yeah, well, you have to kind of remember why you fell in love in the first place. A good way is to really use the eyes. You know, we never age in the eyes, interestingly enough. And so if we can look at each other, you know...
I was trying to look at mine then.
If you actually look at the eyes, you know, you will remember the person you fell in love with.
I'm fascinated about this, and I raised it on the panel before, and Ida got very cross at me. But do you see, well, like, as you get older, do you see the younger person you fell in love with still? I've heard people say that they still see...
Yes, I think that's a sign of, like, true love, true engagement. Probably you've been paying attention along the way, but the beautiful thing about the eyes is the eyes are still the same. They might wrinkle around the eyes, but the actual eyes that you looked at and gazed at so lovingly in the beginning are still there.
Narcissists can see their own reflection and work around that one. So this reconnecting, I mean, do some people just give up? Is this a time when a lot of divorces occur?
Yeah, it is a time where it's a very high amount of people that do decide, you know, we can't reconnect, I don't know who you are, and sometimes they can even tend to blame each other. It's like, oh, well, we didn't pay attention enough along the way, but it's like, well, actually it was you or it was you, and so you can run into problems in that way, yes.
Now, should you talk about being on your own or just keep really busy?
Well, I think it's a good time to reconnect because, you know, you are getting to those old, getting that little bit older, and it's good to have someone to take care of you. So I think it's a good time that if you still want to be with that person, is reconnect, do some novel things. The brain loves novelty, do something new together.
Is it true that if you sit for 10 minutes and stare into somebody's eyes that you can fall in love? You can. It's through the eyes we actually fall in love.
Wow. And the reason why that is because you see into the nervous system. You can actually see those little, you know, when someone gets a tear in their eye, you get that empathy for them. And so then, and through empathy, we can fall in love again.
Well, Fred Hollows must have fallen in love with a lot of people.
Don't you think, though, we're leaving it a bit too late? My husband and I, when we've been on one date since Harry's been born. He's 4.5 months. And we spent the whole time of dinner talking about the bowel movements of our children, which isn't very romantic at all. We always talk about the kids. It seems to be the glue that keeps us together. Shouldn't we be making sure now that we have time for each other away from the kids? Should we start early?
Absolutely, Sarah, and I think that's where couples go wrong. There's been neglect of the relationship along the way, unfortunately, and that's why people get into trouble. So my advice is that people, particularly at your stage, pay attention to your relationship, because you don't want to get to that point and go, gee, who are you? I don't remember who you are. And have to go through all of that process again.
And have a no-go zone where there's no phones and maybe no talk about the kids.
We lie in bed and we get our phones out and look at all the cute videos that we have of our kids. Like, it's pretty pathetic.
Sarah,
you can watch
lovely.
those when they leave home. Watch them then.
It's interesting what you say, Denise, about a no-go zone, because my wife has a no-go zone.
Sorry, Melissa, keep going.
But Sarah, I think what you're saying is lovely because you are still concentrating on the outer and that does give you something in common, your children.
Yeah.
But then you've got to turn back to each other and go, hey, I remember you and you're great in my life and I love you just as much as I love our kids and really have that connection
I kind of
again.
think, though, like, where is the time, though? I know we all know that we should be doing this and we know that we have to do this and it's good for us, but just where is the time? Like, on Saturday, I had my mum up with us for a couple of days, and so it just so happened that there was this moment on Saturday afternoon between about 2:35 and 2:37 in the afternoon where I actually didn't have anything to do, and I went, I have not had this feeling for years.
You make
there
time,
just
though.
is
You
no
have to
time in
You
the day.
do. You know, Joe, make time, even just engaging and looking into your partner's eyes and saying, hey, I remember who you are and I love you, daily can actually help your relationship enhance greatly because it excites the brain and it goes, oh, wow, I know who you are. And so you can get excited about each other again. So if you've only got a few minutes, my advice is gaze lovingly, look at your partner like you cherish and love them, even if you're not feeling that way, and watch,
So just
you'll
fake it.
have a better day. A little bit of faking.
Look at her like she's a banana.
What's that?
Let's recap some of those points. Reignite the spark. What brought you together in the first place? Reconnect as a couple, even through sight and touch and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and find out how your partner is going and do new things together. Melissa Ferrari, fabulous chatting. Thanks so much for joining us.